And like, I kind of knew like if I was able to get to 5,000 active books at like a generally high profit, like I was shooting to make like 90 grand like from books like per year. And at the time, like basically having just graduated from being a student, like that was like, I was like really, really excited for that. So yeah, I was like pushing really hard for that.
Cheers. Welcome back to the Dough Bois Podcast. I'm your host, Logan. I'm joined today by my lovely, stubbly co-hosts, Cisco the Goat and Golden Locks McGill. Today, we also have a special guest, Checkmate Flips. How's it going? Let's go. All right, Seth, thanks for joining us today. If you want to start off, just kind of tell us your background and who you are.
Yeah, for sure. So I started reselling maybe 3.5 years ago. Really just started it off. Like my brother came back from college and he's like, bro, I'm making like $600 a month selling clothes on Depop. And at the time I was a student. I'm like, sweet, that sounds great. So decided to get into it. From there, it progressed into selling on eBay. Which progressed into Amazon FBA books and then into Amazon. I live in Colorado, love the outdoors.
Sweet. So whenever you first started selling, what did your business really look like as far as the operations?
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, it was literally just like buy t-shirt for $3, hope to sell it for $15, and just do that with like 30 to 50 to 100 items. And then
so was that thrifting?
Yeah, it was thrifting. Yeah, so it was just like, it was so high margin, or ideally high margin, that the bookkeeping wasn't as important as it is for Amazon. You're just kind of like, well, I bought this for $2. Like if like 5 of them don't sell and I sold this for $30, like I'm in the green.
Yeah.
The most important part is being in the green.
So then from there, you transitioned to eBay next?
Yeah, so like eventually I was selling on this app called Depop, and like you can imagine eBay has less traffic than Amazon. It's basically, it had that much less traffic than even eBay. So upgrading to eBay was felt good because stuff actually sold.
Were you still selling clothing when you first started on eBay?
Yeah. And then eventually it turned into like used shoes and stuff as well. Like I loved selling like Keens, Merrells, like the hiking boots and stuff like that, because like they were small, easy to ship, like pretty like uniform shipping, but like people still bought like used shoes like that for like 30, 40, 50, $60.
Okay.
So why'd you start on Depop?
Because my brother was.
That's a cool name.
It's like literally the only thing I knew. Like I never resold anything before. Like I think I had wanted to resell for a long time. Like I tried buying like a ski jacket for cheap on like Craigslist and then reselling it back on Craigslist. And like it didn't work well at all. I tried it with like snowboards and stuff. Like I just had no clue, like back in 2017, 2018, like I just wasn't plugged into even the YouTube community on like how to actually resell stuff.
Interesting enough, Seth, I think we've known each other for a little bit over a year, because I remember when you were transitioning from books into OA. So how did you go? So you started off with Depop, went to eBay, and then so how did you evolve into, because you've gone through quite a bit of evolutions here. You've gone from Depop, eBay, books, and then now into Amazon, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what was your question? Like, how did I evolve from like eBay to Amazon even?
Or how did you even like find out about books, like after you went onto eBay and started doing that after Depop?
Yeah, so like I was trying to learn a lot about eBay just like through the YouTube community. Like there were resellers out there like Rally Roots, etc., who were like teaching how to sell and make money on eBay. And eventually like there was some crossover, you know, like some of those people talked a little bit about Amazon and then it transitioned. And I think I came across like Romer the Roamer and like Matthew Osborne and Caleb Roth. And that whole like used book Amazon FBA arbitrage, I basically turned it into the side hustle to my side hustle of eBay. I was like, if I can find another $200 profit a week going to garage sales, scanning books. Like that would be sweet. Like do my eBay and do a little bit of Amazon on the side. Like that sounds fun. And then like I started like scanning books and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much easier to find profitable stuff like doing Amazon. And also when I find something, it takes me like 2 minutes to list instead of like 5 minutes to take pictures, like 7 minutes to ship an item out. Like a book takes 2 minutes to send into Amazon, like even not using Inventory Lab or Exceller List or anything.
Right. And the prep's way easier too.
Yeah, it's just like with a book. I mean, Amazon FBA books is kind of like there's like certain subsects of Amazon sellers that just like stay in their little niches and don't go anywhere else. Like the shoe sellers, like they only sell Nike shoes.
Right.
Or like the book sellers, they only sell books and they don't even like think there's another world out there. But like with books, it's nice because like once you know how to prep a book, like you know how to prep all the books. Like it's very simple.
Yeah.
And that's like book sets, but it's kind of the same idea. Very quick to prep and ship.
Sweet. Yeah. So were you mainly cherry picking for finding your books? Were you going to like thrift stores, garage sales? How exactly did you source your?
Yeah, I definitely did cherry picking. I was super lucky because there was a Goodwill Outlet World around 15 minutes from my house. If you guys don't know what that is, it's what people call the bins, and basically like they bring out like liquidation of like home goods, books, clothes, and that's where I was getting my eBay stuff. But I realized pretty quickly when I was doing books, like, oh, they bring out like big tubs of books and you can just scan them all, and a lot of them are profitable. So I was getting a ton of my books from there, thrift stores, some estate sales, some pickups, but a lot from there.
Did you ever buy Gaylords or think about it?
Yeah. So context for people who didn't know what Gaylords are, like when I was in the book world for a while, I didn't know what Gaylords were. And then like, it's such a weird term, like buy a Gaylord, like what is this? I never really wanted to buy Gaylords because I was living in like the third story of an apartment building at the time. And so like getting anything delivered to me like that would be really hard. I wasn't working out of a storage unit. And like I was finding enough already. So I never really got into all that. Like, luckily I didn't like have a warehouse space or anything, because that went south for some people in 21. But yeah.
Well, so tell me a little bit about the Goodwill store. Is this like your typical Goodwill store and just in the back, or is it a different kind of Goodwill store?
Yeah, so the Goodwill Outlet World, so we have the regular Goodwill stores, right? The ones we all know and kind of love. They're retail stores. You can just walk in, everything's nicely hung and everything. Books are on the shelf. This place, it's a huge warehouse. Every hour or two, they wheel out like bulk unsorted stuff, and people like line up against the wall until they're released to like go in a mad scramble and like pick up like anything that they could find profitably. And there you purchase by the pound. So like at a regular Goodwill store, like a book is like $2. But like if you purchase clothes at this place, it's like $1.39 a pound or something, or like books were 50 cents. So
A
like
pound.
a pound. Yeah. So,
Jeez.
so like if you were actually able to find something like find a pair of Jordans, like those are going to be like $2 because like they're like a pound and a half.
Jeez. Yeah, so you find 3 profitable books and you're buying them for $1.50 and you're flipping them for insane.
Yeah. And like the cool thing about books there is they were even exempted from the like buy per pound. Like they were just 50 cents flat each. So
Jeez.
yeah.
So are you like, would you just go in there with like headphones and you're just scanning through like hundreds of books?
Thousands. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, like everyone, it was super weird because like in my brain, like knowing like how scanning books works and like how profitable it is, like I was kind of like the first couple times I was expecting like all the other resellers to just like be like, oh, there's profit in the books, like and to have them be a lot of my competition. But like really most of the time a lot of these people were at the flea market. They were doing eBay, and so they knew like a textbook was like worth a lot of money, but they never like put it together that like, oh, you just need to like scan like hundreds of them and then you're just going to find like a $60 book that's like straight profit.
Right.
That was worth all your time being there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, you make money easily in a day. I mean, I was saying like you could make like you could make your Logan would play this game. He would drive 40 minutes to like this town called like Edwardsville. It's near us. And then he would play, I think it was How Quickly Can I Buy Dinner?
How quickly can I buy a steak dinner?
Yeah, there you go. At Roadhouse.
at the time, how much was a steak dinner?
Probably just like $20-$25 Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
But you were going into like
So it would be pretty quick.
Kohl's.
I'd go to like
Yeah.
TJ Maxx.
Oh
Well, you
yeah,
knew-
dude. I've literally never sourced at TJ Maxx. I feel like I'm like missing out. Like it was probably a bunch of fun.
Some good stuff.
Their TJ Maxxes are definitely hit or misses. Sometimes you'll find like a gold mine, sometimes you won't. And then like I think it already passed, but they do like a I don't even know what it's called, like a 30-cent like red tag deal or whatever once a year, where they just significantly drop down the price of everything on like the beauty aisle. So it's definitely worth it sometimes.
Yeah. It'll buy you a
But
steak
Seth,
dinner.
Well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
saying you weren't doing How Quickly Can I Buy a Steak Dinner. You're doing How Quickly Can I Pay All My Bills for the year, like in one go.
What I was trying to do, like at the time, like basically coming into 2021, I had been like really digesting like Matthew Osborne's 100 book challenge. If you guys are familiar with that,
Shout out
I
Matthew
had
Osborne.
taken Romer. What's that?
I said shout out Matthew Osborne.
Shout out Matthew Osborne, inspiring stuff. I had taken Romer the Romer's book business blueprint course. That really helped a lot. And like I kind of knew like if I was able to get to 5,000 active books at like a generally high profit, like I was shooting to make like 90 grand like from books like per year. And at the time, like basically having just graduated from being a student, like that was like I was like really, really excited for that. So yeah, I was like pushing really hard for that.
Now, Seth, like, while you were doing all this, did you have like another like full-time job or like an actual like W-2 job, or did you go straight from being a student to reselling?
Yeah. So in 2020, I was in my internship. I was getting my master's in counseling, and I was in my internship. My wife can attest that like I wasn't enjoying it very much. It wasn't that good of a fit. I'd come home and like be irritable and like depressed and sad and like want to be working on my eBay business. But then COVID happened and like I wasn't taking any classes on the side of this internship, and the internship just got like put on hold for like goodness knows how long. Like I'm sure you guys remembered like anything that you guys were involved in like March 2020. They're like, yep, we can't go in person, and we have no clue when it's going to end. So I was just like, well, I'm doing eBay on the side. Like I'm going to give this like a run for my money to take this full time and do eBay full time. And like we were out of internship for several months there, which turned into several more months. And I'm like, I love this a lot. I spent like a year basically confirming that that's actually what I wanted to do. But then I eventually dropped out of it because I'm like, I like reselling a ton more than this. So like by that point, I had been full-time reselling for around a year, a little under a year.
I think that's so fascinating because it's like it's a side of COVID that no one talks about. The everyone talks about being locked up and how it like mental health and we were all just we don't have any social skills, but then there's a whole group of people like you that benefited massively. Like you realized that, it was something you wanted to pursue more, and then it just gave you all the time to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I very well could have just like kept on that path, and it could have taken me months, it could have taken me years. I could have ended up graduating and gotten a high enough paying job that I would have just been mediocrely like kind of sad with my job and never really pursued it. Like kind of blessed, honestly. Like COVID was a terrible thing for a lot of people, but like it ended up working like really well for me. And so like I'm glad that it worked out. It's like it caused a lot of really hard things for a lot of people, but in that case, like it really helped a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of the silver linings of that time point, that it really allowed people to kind of pursue other things and have the time to kind of really see what the potential can really take them. And it's not even just for reselling; it's for a bunch of other things. I mean, a whole bunch of like online creators came out during COVID. A bunch of other people started different businesses, different like restaurants started to be a little bit more creative in the way they did business. And I feel like it was just a really, in the silver lining of things, it was a way to people to look outside of the box when it comes to themselves and business wise.
100%. A lot of creativity. Yeah.
For sure. So Seth, walk us through the transition then from books to your online arbitrage business.
Yeah, so kind of like I was alluding to before, I'm super blessed and glad that I never got a warehouse and like got signed into a lease and like purchased all these like high-end equipment to like take books full scale, because
Like Logan.
Oh, you did, Logan?
I have a warehouse. It wasn't for books, but I am stuck right now paying a lease on a warehouse that I don't.
Did that help with wholesale though?
Probably not. No, I didn't see any direct benefit. No.
Shoot, I'm sorry, man. Sorry to just be
we're working on it.
Face.
It's okay. It's okay, Seth. Continue rubbing it in his face. Continue.
Yeah, literally.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Get
Go
some
ahead.
salt and just rubbing it in the open wound.
Just getting pied. Yeah. For the people who don't know what we're talking about, like in May, I think it was May 21, Amazon like started really hammering down their restock limits. Basically, up until that point, like people really didn't have very much problem with like if you were able to find and process and send in like 15,000 units like right off the bat, like Amazon would hold your stuff. You could let it sit for as long as you wanted. Fees were minuscule for storage fees, especially like if you were thinking about like, okay, like I just need to let this book sit, and eventually in 6 months, 11 months, 36 months, this book is going to sell for $14. Like nobody cared about the fees. Like the name of the game was send in as many good units as possible and you're going to make good money. But then Amazon just is like, no, we don't want to store all your stuff. If you haven't been sending in fast moving stuff, we're going to cap how much you can send in. So books are basically one of the slowest categories, at least the way thrifters do it, or like both people do it. And so the book selling community just got like destroyed at that time. What's that?
They got gutted. Yeah,
like I don't know what your situation was, Logan, but like for me, I was at around 3,000 active books. Oof. And they said, Seth, you can have 1,600 slots. So like I was like full force, like trying to send in like 200-300 books a week, trying to like build up to that 5,000 active books to like hit the goals that I wanted to do. And like suddenly like I was able to sell through like those books or reprice or remove an order or whatever, but like I wasn't able to send in anything until I was under that 1,600.
Jeez, that's rough.
What was it for you, Logan?
I don't remember the exact numbers, but I do remember, thankfully, I never had any big issues. I was always under the like amount that they allowed me, thankfully. But I know a lot of people got burned.
Yeah, and I mean, like there were some people I think that were doing like that were selling enough, or like had an account open for long enough, or like something about their metrics was like a lot more solid. Like Caleb Roth, for example. I think, what's that?
Longevity probably too played a factor.
Yeah.
How long they've been on Amazon.
Yeah, like I had only had my account for like a year at that point. So like some booksellers were able to continue at scale, and a lot weren't. But like again, kind of like the whole like pandemic thing, like I think I'm better in the long term for being like forced to pivot in a certain way. Because basically my options were I could be a merchant fulfilled bookseller, and I hate listing and shipping. Like it's not my forte. Like I really don't like it. Or I could pivot in some way to sell things that like move faster, so I can boost my limits. So retail arbitrage was the way to go at that point.
Okay, so you went from books to RA and then to OA?
Yep.
You really have had a lot of evolutions.
Too many evolutions.
We're not even done.
I want to just like stick to what I'm doing now for as long as possible, because I'm just like, this is too many evolutions.
So what did your retail arbitrage business look like?
Trader Joe's.
I loved Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's was good until I told a manager how many of a quantity I had. He's like, he wanted me out of there.
Got kicked out of Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's didn't want money?
It's so stupid. Like, I think it's dumb. But I mean, I guess I get it. Like, if I just like buy out their entire stock on something, like all the 11 customers in the next week who wanted that product, like suddenly just didn't get their thing. So, but
they can go to Amazon.
They can buy from my store.
Exactly.
There's a lot of stores that
leave like a QR code on the shelf with your store.
Just leave my postcard.
Yep.
Posted at every gas station with a sticker.
So like, was it just Trader Joe's, or what other places were you hitting up for RA?
No, I was doing Trader Joe's. I really wasn't like that sophisticated of a retail arbitrage seller. Like I've heard stories. What's that?
Not yet.
Not yet. I've heard stories of people who like have relationships with people at like Home Depot or like stores, and they just like know when like the high ticket items are getting clearanced, and they just like come in and just like clear all the stores. Like I wasn't involved in chlorine.
You weren't in the chlorine cartel?
I was not in the chlorine cartel. I think I found like a tub of chlorine one time and I was like, I'm restricted. I didn't know how to do anything. I was too newbie at the time. But yeah, it was a lot of Walmart clearance. I was like storefront stocking people for replens that I could go into the store and pick up. There were a few car speakers. Like there was a Pioneer car speaker that was retailing for around 120 that sold for between 280 and 320 and sold really quickly. So I would like go to Walmart checking for that product. And like every few Walmarts, there would be one. So like that would be really nice. So I'd kind of have like products like that would be like, all right, I'm looking for the Pioneer speaker, like these 5 replens, these other 2 Bolo-y type items. And I would just go Walmart to Walmart looking for those.
So once you like evolved from doing like the books and the thrifting, it sounds like you've always liked larger electronics, right? Because the Pioneer speakers aren't cheap, right? Or
yeah, they were.
Are there cheap Pioneer speakers? I'm not an expert.
Yeah, those were like $120, $130. Like they slowly were raising the prices. But yeah, I love those. Like if I can just like buy one thing and just like put a label on it and send it in for like, cool. It's just like, that's nice. Like I like that. I've always liked high ASP stuff.
Get your return a lot faster that way too.
Yeah.
Do you know what your ASP is right now? An ASP, for anyone who doesn't know, is average selling price or average sale price. I think mine's like $35.
$35.
What's your Cisco? Do you know?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I haven't looked at it, but if I had to guess, it would be somewhere around 20 to 30 for sure.
What about you, Josh?
Mine's 0. Yeah, I don't sell on Amazon yet.
Josh was my warehouse manager out in Delaware at the warehouse that I no longer use, but still pay at least for.
Love it.
And Josh just has golden locks, so we just keep him around.
Yeah. Golden locks. Love it. Yeah, I was my ASP is like 122.
Wow.
And like that was with like in the last like 4 or 5 months, I've been trying to send in more like bulk, easy, no return customers like this type of item.
Okay. Because my question was going to be, with such an ISP, aren't you worried about returns? But you're targeting items that have a low return rate?
Yeah, so return rate has been an issue over the last year. Yeah, it's definitely been an issue. So more recently, I've been trying to target stuff that's going to be lower return rate. But like over last year, I was selling used items that were also high ASP. So my return rate was very high. Yeah,
My return rate hurts.
it does.
I hate returns. That's like the most annoying, tedious part of the gig.
Yep, they suck.
Yeah, when I see a return for $300 pair of shoes, it hurts. It hits me right here. Or back in the day with the Titanic Lego, it hurt right here.
You got a return on the Titanic?
I got one return and then
It was
charged
like a $1,200 sale.
How much?
And then
$1,200.
1,200. Ooh.
Yeah, you were buying them for like $680 something after taxes, depending on where you were at. Because I think they were like $620, like retail. And they were on Amazon. It started when it first got there. It was at $1,300, and then slowly trickled down. But no, it ended up still being in the green because I whatchamacallit, it was a restocking fee that I submitted, and then I resold it because it was still brand new. Like there was nothing wrong with it, and then so it resold and that's fine.
But when they return it, can you not send it back in?
Sometimes.
Well, I was FBMing them. I wasn't sending them into Amazon. But yeah, I was able to secure. I probably secured I secured like 12 of them, I want to say. In one day, I drove all over my area, all over
How much
Virginia,
profit?
DC, and Maryland. How much profit?
Yeah, what was the potential profit on each one?
I don't remember anymore, but it was up there. It was like 50% ROI at the $1,300
like
price.
300 to 400.
Yeah, 3,400. Yeah,
was that how you bought your car?
My car?
Yeah, that probably just paid for your car right there. All those.
Yeah, 100%. My car. Yeah.
That probably explains your trunk doesn't work very well.
What car did I buy?
Your Corolla.
Yeah. The one I bought before I started reselling. Yeah.
Did you have to make a trip to go home first and then get more? Like, did your car get?
Yeah, only 4 fit. No, like 3 fit comfortably because I would be able to put. No, it was 4. Yeah, so I put 3 in the back seat and then 1 in the passenger seat. But the box was too big; it didn't fit in the trunk. I couldn't like.
So these were like
opening of. They're huge. They're huge.
How are you FBMing that?
I would just because they came. Yeah, it came in the box. I just sent it in the box. So when Lego gave them to me,
you FBM them straight in the Titanic box.
No.
Yeah, that's a big no. I was about to say.
No. So anyways, no. So when the Lego store gave them to me, each one comes with its own box because they can't fit more than one in a box.
Oh.
So it already had its own box. So it just has like when you go to like Walmart and you see like the Lego box that they haven't opened yet. Yeah, it was one of those boxes.
They had to think. Imagine that a Lego employee. Like they got to think that you're just some like 50 years down the road, these are going to be like worth $2,000.
You're a filthy scalper.
Yeah, they had to be thinking that. There's no way they thought.
No, man. I mean, some it just depends on who you talk to, but like the ones in my area, they kind of have no idea, and you can't really tell them because when you like mention anything of it being more expensive somewhere else, they're like, yeah, they're like triple the price on Amazon. Don't buy them there. Go check out like eBricks or whatever the other websites are called. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, thank you. Just walk out.
Don't they limit you to 2 anyways? So like. It wasn't like you were buying like 15 from one store. You were like buying your 2 and moving on.
Yeah, so I hit up 4 different Lego stores. There was one in the state that I live. Was 2 in the state that I live in, 1 in DC, and then 1 in Maryland that I went to. And the 2 ones in Virginia, I went in. I picked up 2. I kind of like got into an argument with one of the stores. So I had my wife call in, and like they held 2 for her over the phone. And then so I picked up my 2 and I went back and I was like, yeah, my wife has 2 on hold too. And they're like giving me a hard time about it. And then I had my in-laws come in and buy 2 more, and they went in separately. So I had 8 from one store, and then 2 from another store, and then 1 at each other store because they were selling out.
That's the stuff like having other people buy for you that's like complicated that people just don't want to do, but it's like really profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
makes it
mean, like
worth a lot.
for those I'll do it, and then like for any like seasonal Legos that are popping, I'll do it if like they're with me in the area. I'm not gonna, hey, can you go buy these $20 Legos that they'll only let you buy 5 of them? Like that's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love that. That high ASP stuff is the best because it's just like you do like you did the I can't talk analysis for one thing. You found the deal for one thing, and you just unload your credit card and like do the same thing, and like $300 profit, $400 profit. Like it's amazing.
do you think on average you see like it takes longer to sell your higher ASP items?
As compared to like a lower ASP item.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the item, I guess. I mean, there's some high ASP items that are like, oh, this is a high sales rank, but like I think one will sell per month. So like there's those types of high ASP items, and then there's also like really low ranked high ASP items that like still do fly.
Yeah. I guess
And
what
you
I'm
said-
asking is, are you okay with it taking longer to sell since it's probably a higher profit?
I still go for like a month's worth of profit, like
Okay.
sent in. So like instead of buying like 50 like shampoo bundles, like I'll just buy a month's worth of this high ASP item, whether it's 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 5 units.
Okay.
I like
Makes sense.
shampoo bundles.
You like shampoo bundles?
Sure
I think
do.
I saw one on Instagram today.
Probably.
Probably.
But so do you ever get scared to send, because you send almost everything that you buy FBA because you hate FBMing from what I recall in past conversations.
Yeah, that's
Do you
what I
ever
said.
get scared?
I appreciate Amazon merch fulfilled. It's just like not for me. Like it's really good money, I'm sure it is, but like I just don't. Do I ever get scared? I get like a little nervous. What I mostly get scared of is like, is this like vendor person, whatever it is, gonna ship? Because I do mostly to prep center. So I'm like really on top of like, okay, like let's make sure that this order doesn't fall through the cracks, because like that's a lot to fall through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming if like the person like sends pictures of like the actual products. I know like when you go on eBay and you look for some things, like sometimes it's like a stock photo, but then if you keep clicking through it, sometimes they'll have like the actual product themselves photos. So I'm sure that's kind of like a green flag for you if you can actually see the product's picture itself.
Yeah, like if it's just a stock photo and it's just one photo, and then they also have like 93% feedback, I'm just like, yeah, no, thank you. Like this is definitely not going to do this. Yeah.
93% feedback's bad. I mean, I don't know. I'm like never on eBay.
On eBay, it kind of is. It's almost like if you click into someone's feedback and you look at their negatives and they're like, this person never shipped, or like they said it was new, but like it was clearly used and blah, 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 blah. And that's happened like multiple times. It's like, do I want to deal with this? Like, it's probably not worth it.
Makes sense. So you're doing a lot of eBay to Amazon, right? Would you say that's the bulk of your business?
Yeah, that's a majority of what I do.
Okay. Yeah. Can you go over some do's and don'ts for eBay to Amazon? Because it's a bit of a gray area in the community.
Yeah. Like specifically, like, did you have certain things in mind?
So I guess one question I have is, are you only selling used items from eBay to Amazon, or do you do new stuff as well?
Yeah, actually, I think it's interesting because I think you were probably going towards like, don't sell new from eBay to Amazon, but
that is where I'm going.
But I've actually done a lot of new stuff eBay to Amazon. I'm like very careful with looking at the Keepa and being like, all right, is the brand on this listing? Like, are there major signs of IP claims going on with this? So that would be a strong like do not send in anything where the brand is on the listing, because you're just like asking to get an IP claim. Like that's kind of like, it's sort of their turf. And like, if you're doing eBay to Amazon, like your receipt's not going to work for your IP claims. So like, you really don't want to go into it just like begging to get an IP complaint, because like your claim's not going to get removed like 90% of the time. So that would be a strong do not. Another do not do is if your account is brand new, like I would strongly suggest like doing some regular retail online arbitrage first for a little while, because like if you're doing like thousands and thousands of sales a month and you get one claim, you're still at risk, but it's going to be a lot less of a risk. But like if your account's brand new, like that's putting yourself at a lot of risk. So I would say that's kind of a, be very careful in that area.
Well, Seth, where can everybody find you on the socials?
Yeah, Checkmate Flips on all the socials. Got a YouTube, got Instagram, got Twitter. I'd love to connect with you guys. Feel free to send me a message. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Seth
Before
is
we leave,
big
we're gonna
on YouTube.
wrap it up with the quote of the day. Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.